At the beginning of May, I was traveling to a long-awaited meeting with my teacher, Natalia Rodina. But just a few hours before that trip, which I had been waiting for all year, I lost everything. My documents, my money, my bank cards, my phone. In a single moment, everything was gone. A fellow student was traveling with me. We arrived at the airport, checked in, and headed toward the security checkpoint. Just a few minutes later, I realized that my bag was gone. Later, the security cameras showed that the woman standing in front of me in line had taken not only her belongings, but mine as well. At that moment, many people would have panicked, but something unexpected happened. Inside, I felt calm, very calm. I remembered my teacher's words.
How should we react? How do we stop ourselves in time? How do we make decisions in stressful situations? Here is the first piece of advice, the very first practical recommendation. Whenever you are under stress, for the first 2 or 3 seconds, and sometimes even 5 or 6 seconds, try not to think about anything. Stop your mind in that moment of stress. Stop your emotional reaction. How do I do it? I gather myself inward and simply become still inside. For those few seconds, I try not to think about anything. I do not react. I do not take any action. I simply become still within myself, listen to myself, and shift my attention away from the stress and back to my inner state. During those few seconds, your mind naturally begins the process of restoring balance. You begin to recover, and only in that state of inner silence, you can truly make a decision.
I prayed and continued to trust. Despite everything, I carried a deep certainty that this story was not over yet. The police took my report. They told me it would be very difficult to recover my belongings, but I kept believing. It was during those very days that I felt more than ever the power of human kindness. My fellow student stayed by my side. She was sincerely concerned about me, supported me, and helped me remain calm during such a difficult situation. My husband was also an incredible source of support. That was when I understood something very important. When a trial comes into our lives, people often appear through whom help arrives. I saw in them kind, wise, and radiant souls. Through their support, their generosity, and their compassion, it felt as though a force much greater than ourselves was revealing itself. Sometimes we wait for help from above, without realizing that it is already reaching us through the hearts of other people.
Then my teacher's words echoed clearly in my mind. God's help comes to us through other people.
2 weeks passed. Then, suddenly, I received a phone call from the airport. "We have found your belongings." When I arrived, they returned everything to me. My documents, my phone, my bank cards, my personal belongings. And the most amazing part was that the money was still there. At that moment, I understood a very important truth. Whenever a person faces a trial, there is always a choice. A choice between fear and trust, between panic and inner peace, between despair and faith. It is in moments like these that we truly understand the power of faith built upon deep knowledge. For some people, this story will be nothing more than a fortunate coincidence. For others, simply a lucky accident. But for me, it became a living lesson in trust. A lesson that not everything in this world is governed by human logic. Sometimes help arrives precisely when it seems that all hope is gone. Today, my heart is filled with deep gratitude to God, to Natalia Rodina, to the International Center for the Development of the Capacities of Consciousness, to my fellow student, to my husband, and to everyone who helped me through this experience. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your humanity. Thank you for reminding me that every human being carries within them the ability to do good. And if, at this moment, you are facing difficulties that seem impossible to overcome, remember this. The solution is not always visible right away. Sometimes it is already making its way toward you. You simply cannot see it yet, beyond the next turn of destiny. That day, I did not just recover my belongings. Once again, I regained my trust in life. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not that what was lost is returned, but that through life's trials, a person begins to see the goodness that had always been there.